So I've got now my two tools for the flywheel side of a couple different size cranks. These are M8 by 1 and M10 by 1, or the M10 is actually the NPT, which I demonstrated, but the idea is M10 by 1 would be the size. So let's just take the M10 as a for instance. The M10 goes on here on the flywheel side of this is actually a Husqvarna 394 crank. So got that, and I can put a bearing on that side or pull the crank through that side. But what about the other side? And these threads on the flywheel side are regular threads, right hand thread, they're metric, but the ones on the PTO side here, the clutch side, that's left hand thread. We've got a couple of different options. One, what we can do is use the heat and cool method for this particular side of the crank and the side of the case half, and then pull it through on this side, which I'll actually demonstrate in a future video. Or we can make tools for this side as well, something that'll actually grab on there. And this one happens to be left-handed thread, and I believe this is M12 by 1.25. This is actually a Husky 372. I believe the 385, 390 have the same style crank. So 372, 365, 385, 390, they probably all have 14 by 1.25. These taps are left-hand thread. These are special taps that I needed to buy on eBay. I did get these. They're actually Chinese-made taps. They were not easy to find here in the United States. So I think they were about 15 bucks a piece shipped. It's still cheaper than going out and buying a press for this job. And I think that this is going to be a more controlled way of doing an installation. So I've actually drilled this out. Free drilled, free hand. I believe this is actually drilled to like 15-30 seconds. So I need to tap this. Problem always with taps is getting them started. So for this job, you do kind of need the big tap holder. And you just work it like that for a little bit. So here we have a 372 crank. This is an M14 by 1.25 left-hand thread. And here's the new tool. You can see the threads inside there. I did that literally all by hand. There's no lathe. It's all free-handed. Here's an old bearing. It doesn't go on. At least not by vertical pressure that direction. So let's take our jig, the same thing as we had before. This is a race from a 6203. Happens to be a washer there. Got to grab some thread though. Thread is left hand. Thread run down. And then you run this in. And keep in mind we're doing this at room temperature. Is that bearing going down? Now, this is just for demonstration and for kicks, but didn't put it down that far, only a couple of turns. Can I get it off? No. So yeah, we are indeed pushing that bearing down. So that's proof of concept now that this side works. Took me about 10 minutes to make this. Yeah, 20. Let's give it 20. Drill it out, 10 minutes. Cut it, 30 seconds. Drill it, 10 minutes. Tap it, 10 minutes. So a very simple tool. I've already labeled it M14. Just grind something in there, and that way it's labeled. And so that's good on an M14 1.25 left-hand thread Husqvarna 372. The next question is, does it work on a 394? Let's find out. Again, the process is pretty simple. Take a punch, center more or less, drill it out to the necessary diameter. In this case, we're doing M12. We have to tap M12, so we got to get something slightly smaller than that. Make sure your drill's on center and going fairly straight. Don't even need amazing accuracy. You really don't. These don't have to be perfect class 2 threads or whatever. I'm sure there are specific sizes for how big to drill M12 and M14, but I'm not even really worried about that. Because again, you don't have to have perfect threads for this. Can measure M12 here. It's about 12 millimeters. So in inches, that is 0.476, 0.475. Always nice to have nice sharp drill bits. That one's throwing out some nice chips. Nice chips on that one. Next size up is 13/32. Let's see what we got there. Yeah, let's do this. This is 27/64. That's what I'm going to use. That drilling and cutting so good. Need to sharpen that one. From the factory, they don't come that sharp sometimes. They're just not rebated back enough. They just don't want to cut. That's okay. Put that on the grinder. And I actually found with the other size, it was easiest to get it started with this, because it's easiest to line it up. And you don't have to drive the threads all the way down. I mean, we don't need to go all the way here. You can if you want, and you can make this as neat and tidy as you wish. You can do it on a lathe and do it to high precision and have a great time doing that. This is not a tool that needs that kind of precision. This is not even a tool that's going to wear out anytime soon, even at exceptionally low precision. Plenty of thread on there. So here we have the PTO side of our 394 crank. M12 by 1.25 threads cut here, left hand. We have a bearing, again an old bearing just for demo purposes. It does not go on. Will need to be pressed on. So I've actually double-ended this thing, so you got M14 and M12 here. So now we can move this nut over to the other side. It's just a handle, that's all that is. And this nut is the active portion of this whole thing. Again, we're going to take our spacer, put our spacer down on there. Washer, a couple of big washers is good. Looks like for this one we need a couple more. No problem. Left hand thread. My first time trying this, so it looks pretty good. Goes down, a little wobbly, who cares? Yeah, if you need more washers here, that's fine. So hold the top here. That way you have two nuts up top here. I know you can't see it, but two nuts up top. That way you can grip it so it doesn't turn. Tighten this on down. See the bearing moving down? That's all you got to do. And that will install the crank into the bearing with zero lateral force, zero worry, zero excitement, all at room temperature. I think that's cool. I think that's exciting. So I'm going to end the video here. I have more videos coming that will utilize these tools, and I'll show you exactly what the practical real world application of that might be. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.